do a dummy circuit and they make the call. So you know, if you're wanting to get a hold of someone and falsify caller ID information like you're a trusted individual so they pick up, that's one way to do it. Or you can falsify the number so that their call logs don't show that bad guy was called.
And can you use that for text messages too?
You know, I don't know if the spoof service works for text, because that's on a different network type.
But think about, like, you've got the new girlfriend who's pissed off at the old girlfriend and they're fighting over the guy. You use somebody else's who you know already has a conflict with that person, and just for us lawyers, you show up in court, you know, what do they want to show you? See, he called me.
That's what I have.
Under the spoofing, you can't, you know, how do you prove that?
Really?
It's kind of scary. That's what I do.
So if you get not just their local caller ID, but then if you go and get the phone records, those detailed logs will show the number they wanted as opposed to their real number.
If I'm, you know, if you were to subpoena records from the telephone company.
Right, or if, say, if your client goes on to, say, his T-Mobile account and prints off the calls coming in.
No, it wouldn't. No, that wouldn't represent the actual originating number.
Okay.
Now, if you were able to get access to the individual using the spoofing service, their call records, you would show, of course, that they executed a call to this toll-free spoofing service prior to, you know, or a duration of that call corresponding to the call time that came in. Then you can make the connection. And this is the complexity of computer forensics. Typically, it's two sides of the fence. We talk to our clients all the time. We're provided often PCs or cell phone devices or, you know, data sources that is an individual's data, and they assert that other individuals have been, you know, harassing or involved in some way in shape and form with the charges that are being asserted. We get to see one side of the picture. And we may see some evidence of what they're asserting, but in order to make the charges stand, you have to connect the dot to the person on the other side. Because the hardest challenge we have as forensic experts is proving who is behind the keyboard. So if somebody was to take my phone and text message a person, you know, they would be Jack Nevins text messaging someone. Or if they were behind my keyboard at home or at work, sending email from my account, how do I prove it wasn't me? And we get into this argument a lot, you know, in court about people say, well, it wasn't me, I wasn't there. So it seems silly to assert that, but you have to be able to have both sides of the technical fence in order to make the connection between the two arguments, really. And then, of course, there's other different scary things that are on here as far as remote system monitoring and collection software. You know, I don't really know that I could, you know, I think Facebook and all the social media sites are here to stay. There's no getting rid of them as much as I dislike them. Common sense, I think, plays the best rule here about posting personal information and uniquely identifying information. There's a website I might tell you guys to go check out. It's neat and scary at the same time. It's called Pipl. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Pipl. PIPL.com. And it is it's a deep web search tool that links multiple personal record databases. So you can search by an individual's name in a geographic area, and they pull up a tremendous amount of personal information about an individual, places of employment, relatives, friends. They stitch all this stuff together through these social media sites. It will link you to Facebook locations so you can look at people. It's a really powerful tool to use for, you know, for attorneys and for advocates, so they can maybe get a profile of an individual. And it's also, of course, the other side of the coin is a scary thing that people wanting to do bad can use as well.
You know, something you mentioned, common sense, and you brought up with low tech. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'd be surprised at the number of people I run into this. When I don't have a cell phone and I don't have a computer, and I can tell them, I'm not an office, I'm not as versed as you in the computer world, but I said, you give me 4 hours and $20, and I'll find more information about you than you'd ever imagine is out there.
That's my dad. You know, he refuses to have a PC in his phone. Well, he has PCs, but he doesn't want to be connected to the internet.
If you vote, you own a home,
Mhm.
blah, 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 you're out there.
Yeah, I looked him up on Pipple when he was at the house one day, and he didn't really care for that. But, that's the fact of the matter, yeah. If you're a member of society, there's a lot of information there about you.